Good morning everyone. Today I would like to talk about my assignment HMEC 5213 Early Childhood Curriculum Planning and Assessment. My name is Suen. I'm from Batu Pahat Learning Center. I'm taking the Master Early Childhood program. So what is the curriculum? Curriculum is a plan of goal, learners being guided under teachers, a system for dealing with people, a field of study of a subject of matter or content. The purpose of this assignment is to explain a curriculum which is designed for a 5-year-old learner for the duration of 1 year. It will include 3 languages, math, science, and moral. The curriculum that I'm going to introduce in this assignment is the Rainbow Curriculum, which is developed based on Hilda Taba model. I will also talk about the Rainbow Curriculum aim, objective, the philosophy, the teaching approach, and also describe how it's going to be carried out for a 5-year-old over the duration of 1 year. Rainbow Curriculum aim is to design a curriculum that is holistic and comprehensive, which will suit the learning pace of a 5-year-old students by formulating different teaching approaches. The curriculum is specifically developed for learners for 5 years old, and it aims to cultivate outstanding and happy kids. The kids will not only be strong in foundation of academic, but also will have bright values. Rainbow Curriculum objective is to ensure that the 5-year-old learner will be able to demonstrate capability in terms of 3 languages, numeracy, cognitive and fine motor skill development, social and emotion development. Upon completion of the Rainbow Curriculum, learners should be able to demonstrate the capability as guided by Jean Piaget under the pre-operational stage. In terms of language, for the 3 languages Bahasa Malaysia, English and Chinese, the learner should be able to listen and respond according to the teacher instruction and guidance. For instances, if the teacher were to instruct the students to pick up 3 red pencils, the students should be able to pick up correctly 3 pencils which is red in color. In terms of writing and reading, learners should be able to form simple sentences and recognize 2 vocal words. In terms of numeracy, the students should be able to read and write number from 1 to 100 in ascending and descending sequences. The students should also be able to perform simple subtraction and addition, understand the concept of time, mass, density, volume, length, and depth. In terms of social and emotion development, the students should be able to portray a good discipline, character, and able to understand the moral value taught by the teacher and to be able to demonstrate it. They should be able to follow the instruction and understand the need and feeling and opinion of others, able to work together as a team, and communicate well with others with respect. Cognitive and fine motor skill development is more obvious in physical education class. However, in other class, it can also be observed. Students should be able to use tools to demonstrate their development, such as cutting and writing paper, carrying out locomotor movements such as curve, spiral, zigzag, straight in various speed, and also have a good sense in terms of distance and strength. Rainbow Curriculum philosophy is to cultivate outstanding and happy kids with the right values. It aims to nurture individual that is academically strong, physically and mentally well equipped to embrace the future. Strong moral value who will contribute positively and prominently to the society and country. Learners should be able to well-versed in 3 languages, Bahasa Malaysia, English and Chinese, and understand the multi-race culture and also the country history to be a patriotic Malaysian. We talk about the learning theory of Jean Piaget and Vygotsky in this assignment. Jean Piaget theory is focusing Jean Piaget theory of cognitive development is theory about how the children think and learn through constructing and reconstructing what the children know. It talks about children-centered approach, allowing the children to obtain her or his maximum potential. And Piaget also stressed the importance of the children learning experience during the process. Vygotsky theory also talk about children pace, learning by following the children pace. Children pace will be influenced by their experience, present cognitive level and maturity. By allowing the children to learn following their own pace, learning will be more effective and the students will be more confident to themselves. Rainbow learning theory adopt Jim Piaget and Vygotsky theory. It talks about child-centered approach, allowing the children to learn based on his own pace. The importance on letting the children to experience the learning process. Rainbow curriculum use teaching approach such as place-based learning, inquiry-based learning, and field trip. In the Rainbow curriculum approach, the play-based learning split into 3 types of play-based learning: free play, role play, and purposeful play, other than the inquiry-based learning and also field trip. So what is play-based learning? Play-based learning talk about free play, which allow the children to explore, observe, make inquiry, and make the rules. It encourages the students to have good creative and imagination. So what is role play? Role play talks about drama and public speaking of a children. Role play wants a child to change his or her behavior and assume a role. Purposeful play is a structured play. Purposeful play wants the children to learn something out of the play, which the goal of the play can be measured quantitatively. Now we move on to the description of the learning experience. We talk about free play. In Rainbow curriculum, the free play is used in the physical education class. Free play is a play where the learners are given opportunity to create a new rule, a way of playing, and also to allow them to play freely among themselves. They can do it individually or with their friends. They are allowed to explore, observe, make inquiry, and make the rules. For instances, for physical education class, when the students are allowed to play outdoor in the playground, they may use the same equipment or toys. In this case, they need to make rules themselves, perhaps by adopting take-turn system. Role-based play is usually based on stage performance that Rainbow curriculum have. Rainbow curriculum encourages students to do public speaking and also drama play, because drama play can enhance the students' language. For instances, students need to perform a stage performance to play out a role Red Riding Hood. So in this case, the teacher will show a short movie clip to the students and ask the students to imagine themselves in a role as a Red Riding Hood and act it out through the expression, the dialogue, and the role they have seen through the movie. From this role-based play, teacher may give direct guidance to the students in order to play out the drama in the drama setting. The purposeful play. Purposeful play is a structured play. So purposeful play talk about a guided play facilitated by the teacher and carried out by the students. Purposeful play is widely used by a lot of teachers because there's a goal attached to the purposeful play and also it can be measured quantitatively. For example, in Rainbow curriculum, numeric classes adopt purposeful play. For instances, if a student is required to go to a market and purchase 5 cucumbers, 3 apples, and 1 banana, then make the payment in the cashier. Throughout this play, the students is required to go to the market and pick up the correct item. In order to pick up the item, the students need to develop their cognitive development to think and to able to identify the correct item. Also, the students have to do their numeric development, where they need to compute how many items they have picked up correctly. When it comes to payment, for instances, the item is $1 each. The students would need to make the payment through the cashier. Then they will need to compute how much to pay, and the cashier will need to give the balance to the students. Throughout this structured play, the students will be able to know to count, to do a simple addition or subtraction. Inquiry-based learning usually will take place either in a school compound or outdoor. In Rainbow Curriculum, we use science classes. We do adopt to this inquiry-based learning. For instance, inquiry-based learning, we want to teach about living and non-living things. Therefore, we bring the students to our classroom and show them the table, the chair, and the whiteboard, and we explain to the children that these are all the non-living things. Then after, we bring the students out to the garden, and we show them the plants, the birds, and the cat that is running on the school compound. Then we show them that these are all the living things, where each of the living things will have different character, and you can touch them and they will respond. Rainbow Curriculum actually encourage inquiry-based learning, and often open-ended questions will be used during this inquiry-based learning. The third teaching approach is through the field trip. In Rainbow Curriculum, field trips are very important because we believe that through the field trip, the cognitive development is being enhanced the most. Field trips are being organized once a year, and the field trip is being split into 3 stages of learning. First is the pre-field trip. During the pre-field trip, teacher will discuss with the children and listen to them, let them express their opinion, and let them talk about where they would like to go. Over this discussion, they will learn to respect each other, and also it will nudge them to think where and what they want to see. For instances, if they have decided that they want to go to the zoo, teacher will plan the route together with them, looking at the map of the zoo and decide what animals they want to see and what performance they want to watch. Thereafter, they will decide how much they need to collect in order to carry out this field trip. This will include the transportation fee and also the zoo ticket. Prior to the trip, teacher will also show some of the video clip or also flashcard to the children to let them know what is the animal's characteristic and behavior. Safety precautions will also be discussed with the students before the field trip is being carried out. During the field trip, students will be given a ticket to go into the zoo, also with a map with the route they have planned to go, animals they will be visiting, performance that they will be watching. During the field trip, teacher encourage open-ended questions. Teacher encourage the students to explore, to observe, and do their sensory development through seeing, touching, and feel. Students are also encouraged to share and express their opinion of what they have looked around, observing the environment. Once it's completed, teacher will bring them back to the school. Post-field trip, it will actually include learning such as encourage students to share about what they have learned during the field trip. For instance, teacher will give every children a manila card or a paper and require them to draw out, to abstract what they have seen in the zoo. Then, teacher will discuss with them and let them know that whether what they have seen in the zoo is correct or not. For instance, if a student draw out a tiger and color the tiger in green color, teacher will then ask, is this right? Or this is something you have imagined? When you see the real lion in the zoo, what is the color? Teacher never say wrong, because children may have their own imagination, and perhaps the children want the lion to be in green. Now we talk about the children assessment. Children assessment will split into 2 types. One is indirect and the other one is direct. Indirect assessment will be the observation. Observation will have 4 stages. First, we have observation and collection of information. We analyze the information, we evaluate the information, and we communicate the information. So rainbow curriculum students will be assessed through observation method, and this is being carried out through monthly basis or random basis. During the observation and collection of information, it can be done through any time during the class activities. Teacher will observe how a children do a worksheet or how a children express their opinion and how a children perform a fine motor skill activities. For instance, a children which is 5 years old is able to write a single word, or a 5 years old student is able to do a simple summation by themselves independently. After the teacher observe and collect the information, teacher will analyze the information. By analyzing the information, it will help teacher to identify what is the weakness and strength of these students. It can be done by comparing these students to the peers or comparing these students' current performance with the person's past performance. Then the teacher will evaluate whether how well is the performance of these students and if there's any intervention required. For instance, if let's say a teacher notices that a 5 years old students are unable to form a simple sentences yet, then the teacher should know that some intervention is required for these students, because for a 5 years old student, he should be able to form a simple sentences by right now. Therefore, the teacher may carry out some additional activities or extra time for these students so that the students can improve on his English. Lastly, the evaluation will be then communicated to the parents. This can be done through teacher-parents day. During the discussion, teacher can inform the parents what the teacher has observed, and also to inform the parents what the teacher have evaluated. For instance, teacher may inform the parents and says that the teacher noticed that this student is very good in mathematics. So in terms of basic summation and subtraction, these students can do very well. But when it comes to languages, these students is lacking because still unable to form simple sentences independently, and it need to be guided by the teachers. This will then communicate to the parents, and parents can work together with the teacher to improve the students' weaknesses. Lastly is the written test. The writing and listening test can be in question paper form, questionnaire or checklist. This is rather a formal way to test the children's performance. For instances, students will be assessed through a work paper. Teacher may ask a 5 years old to do out a basic summation or subtraction of mathematics independently, and then the teacher would know whether how well can these students perform the task by himself. Assessment is very important because it will actually help teacher to know whether the teaching approach is effective and whether the learning objective of these children has been achieved or not. In conclusion, Rainbow Curriculum is a very holistic and comprehensive program, catered for 5 years old for the duration of 1 year, that comprises of 3 languages, numeric, science, and moral. It aims to cultivate students not only outstanding in the academic, but also have right value, and the person can contribute to the society in future. This curriculum approach is very much influenced by James Piaget and Vygotsky, because Rainbow Curriculum agree that child-centered is a very good approach to tackle the learning of a children. Observation will be a good assessment for this Rainbow Curriculum. Thank you for listening to my assignment.